How's it going, everybody? It's 3 o'clock on Saturday. Now it's pretty manky out there, so there might be a few people on here today. This is my last Feck with Beckett live, and not too sure how I feel about that. Like when we went down into lockdown, I think the whole world was turned on its edge, and me with it, and I have to say the response of people, whether it be sometimes on this lives there's 2 people watching, sometimes there's 100 people watching, and for me I just want to thank everybody who have actually joined in, both with Feck with Beckett and with the Sculpt the Skull and all the other sort of workshops that I've done so far. But it's, as I said, I'm not too sure how I feel about Feck with Beckett finishing. I have busted myself for the last couple of days with trying to get him to a stage that I think he'd be finished. He's not 100% finished. And I might have to do a little bit more on him, but I think I think Feck with Beckett is definitely coming to its end. I think we're coming out of like everybody's coming out of isolation. The whole world is trying to get back to normal now, and but I have to say I think I'm going to miss these because in my week, which has been chaotic at times, we're dealing with well, my own personal stuff with in lockdown, as well as stuff with college and trying to keep on teaching. And it's like sometimes my job to keep the morale up and to keep everything going. That's my job. But this has been really for me, and for me to keep sane. And what's really lovely is that there's loads of people on here who have come in every week, and twice a week sometimes, and either just to watch, say hello, drop in, maybe sculpt something along, maybe do something completely different, or dance around the kitchen, I don't know. But I have to say it's been a pleasure for me to be able to do this, and I'm going to miss it, I have to say. The regularity of doing it. Saying that, sometimes it's pretty hard to get in here and do this stuff when you on a Wednesday at 3, oh crap, I have to be in here, or Saturday at 3, oh crap. So that element I'm looking forward to not being there, but I am going to miss actually talking to people and doing this type of stuff. I'm not finished. I'm finished with him. Well, finished with the sculpt. But I am going to document the moulding of him, because a lot of people thought that would be interested in that. And I am going to talk about the painting and hair punching, all that sort of stuff. So you'll see him go through his various different stages of coming through to being sort of live Beckett. But I am going to stop Feck with Beckett. But I am going to, hi Margarita, hi Keith, put my glasses on so I can see. Hi Aidan, how's it going? Rory, what's the story? Aidan, thank you for helping keeping us. Well, I would put it back at you. Thank you for keeping me sane. It's helped me a lot doing these things in this mad time, and it's just been lovely to be able to do this. And like for me, doing this type of stuff, you'll miss me. Yeah. Well. We'll keep on doing stuff, but I am taking a break. I'm pretty tired, I have to say. Like I looked at my live from Wednesday, I even looked at it and I looked tired. I have been, literally for the last week, I've been up at 6 o'clock in the morning working on this dude, trying to get him finished for today. Paul, how's it going? So, as I said, for everybody that has tuned in, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been my pleasure, and really my pleasure to be able to do this stuff with you. It's sort of weird because we all do this sort of stuff in sometimes a freezing flipping cold workshop. I know in films I've worked in pig sheds and I've worked in cow sheds and all sorts of stuff, and sometimes not even a shed out in the open. But it's very solitary, and to do this in front of everybody, I have to say it was pretty nerve-wracking at the start, but once you get over that and you get over listening to your own voice and seeing yourself on screen on multiple images, it's actually pretty cool, and it's been lovely being interacting with everybody. So to get on to a little bit of finishing up with this dude, and if there's anybody who wants, I don't know if I can do this, but I think I can, but if there's anybody who wants to come in and have a chat, I've never done it to any other live, because I'm looking at this and I'm going, what does that do? Maybe we can bring some people in near the end of Feck with Beckett, and I'm happy to stay on for a little while. And we could have a chat, and I don't mean text, I mean actually talk. So if anybody wants to do it, just send me a message on this. So I'm gonna just twist this dude around, and I've been working on his eye. This eye, the Feck has been very difficult, I have to say. Like at his best, there's stuff that's not right with him. There's stuff that is right, but I have to say it's been great for me to keep my head with doing this process, but what's been difficult is that I can only do an hour a week on him. Well, the last wee while there's been loads of hours to try and get him finished, but I've only done Saturdays and Wednesdays on him, and it needs to be a little bit more consistent to be able to get him more symmetrical. But I think trying to make it symmetrical, it's symmetrical and looks symmetrical when his face is completely not symmetrical. Very difficult thing to do. It's one of the hardest things to do, lads, is the likeness. But I'm hoping that he has a Beckett likeness. I think he does. Now, what I've done is you probably see that the skin texture is, let me see, well, it's 2:1 anyway, so it's going to be large. But what I've done is I've exaggerated that a little bit, because my experience with doing the stuff, let me see in the background, you can see that eye, and let me twist it around more, you can see that ear, let's just twist it back, and I'll just put it there so everybody can see him there. So all the stuff that you see in the background, when I start painting that, I will be painting it with silicone, and in my experience the silicone does add a layer, so it does add a layer onto it. So what I tend to do is exaggerate a little bit, and when you put on the layer of silicone, and I'm using that to paint, it tones all of that back, it tones all of that down. What I am going to do as well, I'm not going to do it today, I'm not going to do it in here either, because there's I don't know if you can hear it next door, there's a rake of kids, there's a little bit of a party from next door. They're getting to play with each other for all of them together in the house, so I don't want any chemicals in here, but there is a thing that I will do, and I think it's a really cool trick. I'll describe it, I'm not going to do it, but I saw this, who was it, I think it was Stuart Bray did it. He did a tutorial there, what was it? Makeup Armory, I think it was, he was doing a sculpting tutorial of it, and he mixed a slurry of Shavant, which this is Shavant, and he mixed it with lighter fluid, which is naphtha in its raw form. If you don't know, if you know it by naphtha, it's naphtha. If you know it by lighter fluid, it's lighter fluid. So he, in a jar, cup, I use hummus tubs, made a slurry, and what you can do is with a chip brush, I'm not going to do it now, because you're talking mixing a fair whack of chemicals in it, and there's kids next door, so I'm not doing that. Caitlin, how's it going? Jerry, how are you? Catherine, Susan, how's it going? Jessica, what's the story? So what you do is get a slurry, and if anybody actually knows about when painting with silicone, you use a flicking motion with the top of the brush. You do the same with the clay. Judith, how's it going? So you use the same with the clay, and what that does is I've over exaggerated a little bit on its wrinkles, on its pores. That will put a layer of dippling onto the actual sculpt, and sort of blend everything together, and so it sort of gives it a skin over the skin. So I'm going to do that before I mould them, but I'm not doing it here, as I said, because there's kids next door, and I'd be using chemicals and I don't do that shit. Excuse the language. I've had cancer once, lads. It's not coming back. So I would be an advocate of PPE gear. I know that we're all going to be paranoid now with COVID-19, but I've been paranoid for years. So I'm not going to be doing stuff like that with kids in the background. So this fella, he's pretty much what I'd say 90% finished. I've got the ears done, and I tell you, every time I've looked at this, not so much in Instagram and Facebook, but in YouTube. I have YouTube going over there for the people who don't know as well. Every time I've looked at it, because generally it's you sort of the way I sculpting it, Instagram and Facebook, you're seeing it from the side, whereas YouTube usually sees it face on. And I can see if the ears are off or not. I can see what's not symmetrical or is, and the ears have been an absolute nightmare. But I do think that I've lined them up. Now the ears aren't 100% symmetrical, but they are generally on the same plane, same line, and I think I've got that possibly a little bit off, but they're not the same anyway. Both ears are not the same, so I think I've got that right. So what I'm going to do for a small while, and if anybody wants to come in, as I said, and have a conversation with me, I've never done that before, so bear with me. Just if you want to say hello or even ask a question, send me a text, not a text, a message on this, and we'll try and sort that out. But I'm going to go in and do this eye, and it has been this eye from day one, and what I'm trying to do is, can you all see? We can. Shane, how's it going? What I'm trying to do here, oh Fiona, how are you? What I'm trying to do here is just little tweaks to get it. This side looks like he's squinting a little bit. Let me see. Can you see that? Can you see that? He looks like he's squinting a little bit, which is this side here. So I'm just going to open it a little bit. So how is everybody? Is everybody freaked out that we're coming out of lockdown? Possibly a little bit quicker than. Well, sorry, not possibly. I was reading or listening to stuff last night. We are coming out quicker than they thought. I think for a lot of people, well, me, definitely. I haven't talked to many adults, to be honest. I haven't live. It's something that I've just been in my house, and I'm a little bit nervous, I have to say, about going back into sort of this real life and not fully knowing what what is expected of me or what I'm going to see. I know that's a bit weird, but it's very strange to be in lockdown and then coming out of it. So, as I said, lads, this is my I put it on the post. 26th. This is my 26th live of Feck with Beckett, and there have been loads of regulars, and I can see them here, which is lovely. For the college situation, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I've talked to students, I've talked to everybody from the highs to the lows in IADT, everybody, and to be honest, the college or any institution, like hairdressers, they weren't allowed open until this week. Who said that? The government. So the college, hopefully, it will bode well for the college, and it'll be back open again. But the problem with any of this, and that's why I had to cancel my summer course, is that we couldn't get insurance for the course in the space, because the space you really wouldn't be able to do social distancing at 2 meters. Plus, you know, I wouldn't be able to touch anybody's work or anything like that. So it still is an issue. This 2 meters. If they drop it to 1 meter, that makes a huge difference. I think. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd love to be able to say, well, this is what we're going to do, but can't. Don't even know what we're going to do. I'm going to drop this. There's a bit too much here. I'm going to drop that off. Here. Everybody can see. Yeah. So again, lads, as I said, I only started doing this crack for myself. This is just for me, to keep me sane. And when I went out live, no, actually I didn't go out live. I sent an image of me working on this, and I was blown away, I have to say, by people's responses. Yes, they like the sculpt, but what I didn't expect people would like was to actually watch me do this, and how soothing it sort of. Well, these are not my words; these are people's words to me, and they found it very soothing and calming. And the only reason I've started Feck with Beckett, because I was going, well, Feck it, we have to do fecking something here, and I'm not going to sit in my ass and do nothing. So I thought, you know, if people like it, and I'm going to sculpt this anyway. This was all for me, to keep my head sane, and sure, why not? Why not? Put it out and see if people would join in, or even maybe get entertained, maybe get inspired, maybe sculpt along with me, and that's all my intention was to do that. I did not expect anybody, and that is truthfully honest, to join in. I did not expect anybody to comment, share, like, anything like that. I'm not, and that's truthfully honest. I just put it out, and what I found fascinating about all of that was the people's response, and it's for me, this has been a fantastic thing to be able to do. I know it's an absolutely screwed up situation, but to be able to talk to people, look, I have somebody from Peru on here, it's mad. I have people from Mexico, people from China, people from Japan, people from France, people from Canada, somebody from Greece, as well as everybody in Ireland. But it's been fantastic to be able to do this for people. Now, believe you me, first time I did this, and if you can look back, they're all up. The first one that I did, I absolutely planked myself. I absolutely planked myself. If anybody knows me, and most people here probably do know me, but the first, I'm used to being in the background. I'm not the one ever to be in the foreground, and that's not me. And I absolutely planked myself the first time. I had to actually do a meditation beforehand to calm my breath before I come on. But as I got used to it, and as this sculpt actually evolved, and and people actually been really nice. All ye out there have been actually really nice, and your response is lovely. Donald is saying here, I would give anything for an opportunity to do this kind of thing. This is amazing. Well done. Donald, a lot of people have said to me exactly the same thing, that they would love to be able to do it. I teach this stuff, but even a lot of people at that stage doing these courses, they're put off because they think that I'm never going to be able to do it. Whereas all I can say about that is you have to start somewhere, and I did when I was 16, and it was crap, absolutely crap. Now that's only my story. You could start now, doesn't matter what age you are, and it's all down to practice, and following people, looking at other people's work, and the other thing is with this type of thing, I know that this fella's not perfect. I've done my best. I know he's not perfect though, and if you can drop the ego out of it and say, I know he's not perfect, but I've learned a lot, and I want to learn more. I'm always wanting to learn more. So I will look at other people's sculpts and I do that all the time. So I keep on learning and learning and learning. So if you want to do this stuff, grab some clay, and just start. But if you have watched me, I think you have done it. I've seen your name come up every now and again, and you'd hear me harping on about reference. So we can't just do this out of nothingness. Yeah, there's something. This is a big. I'm going to take a little bit down now here. You can't do this stuff without reference and observation. So that would be the first thing you need to do is reference, observation, have a plan. Don't work from your head. Try not work from your head, because number one, if you have never sculpted before and you're working from your head, what are you working from? A void. There's nothing in there. No, I'm not saying that there's nothing in anybody's head, but I'm saying is you need information, and you need to put it in there. I have started, just don't have space or resources anymore, sadly. Yeah, tell me about it. Like, I'm in my kids' playroom, and now, just saying that, I used to have savage resources up in Dublin. I don't live there anymore. Absolutely savage resources and like loads of space. But I have done stuff on my kitchen table. Like, I think it's more. You could say, I'm going to wait till I have the perfect tool. I'm going to wait till I have the perfect clay. I'm going to wait till I have the perfect space. You could do something really small. You could do something really, really small. You could do an eye. Or something really small. I work on my kitchen table sometimes. I don't have a workshop. Well, I sort of do now, but it's limited to what I can do. But it's amazing what you can do with very little. But it's just weird in this scenario. What we've been through is that some people have fecking nothing. And not only that, no resources money-wise to be able to replenish it all either. That's a different ballgame. But what I would hope is that we're all going to get back to normal, and we can start doing this stuff. But if you want to start sculpting, the best and easiest way to start sculpting is start sculpting. There's no magic. It might seem magic when you're seeing somebody sculpt and they mash some clay together and it actually looks like something. But believe you me, I've done loads of this and it looked like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right, this here needs to drop down a little bit. This eye has always annoyed me. So it's sort of one of the last things I'm doing. And what's really satisfying about an eye. Something small done. Seriously, if you really want to do this stuff, the best thing is to go classical. Seriously, and this is what I'm going to do myself. And if you want to learn, say, anatomy and sculpting, everybody knows Michelangelo's David. And I have on, let me get it here. Hold on a sec, if I can fall off getting it. Hold on a sec. Now, you get this on the internet, and that is an eye, and I printed that off to help me with this. Why not do one section? Look, that size, literally that size, and I'm working on that. People will say, I don't have an eye. Sculpt it. And there's loads of tutorials online, and that's actually one thing I was thinking of doing was a nose, lips, an eye, an ear. If you can do them symmetrically wise, getting the forms, getting the planes right from reference, well, you can do anything after that. So I'd start small myself, and don't put the thing on. Don't put it on that. I've done that, saying that I can't do this because I've no space. I did that for years, absolutely years, and I just didn't do stuff. Absolutely didn't do stuff because I didn't have a space. So I said, "Feck it!" One day I'm just going to do it, and do what I can in the space that I have. Now I have plans You can't see them, but they're on that wall of Make My Own workshop. But with, that's what this workshop and during the summer was going to help me start, but that's not going to happen now. Sculpt a Skull is the perfect place to start. I would agree with the Sculpt a Skull, and now that's a whole skull. I would use the same method as Sculpt a Skull. Now it's small too. I purposely made it small so people could do it with very little resources. So that's what I would do, is start with Sculpt a Skull. Now it is hard. It's not an easy thing to do a skull. So that, I actually think I might do an eye next, because it's a very classical thing. And I have to say, once you get this in that socket, and you can see that socket, you can see the shadows in there. Once you get that socket in there and you can see, and it's like, you know, an eye is the gateway to the soul. You can see it sort of live, and that, you know, and like anybody out there who knows me, I'm fascinated about making inanimate objects live. I think there's somebody here from Animism, Sasha, she is, Animism, making an inanimate object come to life. So that sort of stuff I'm fascinated about. And if you can make an eye and make it look like, you know, you obviously can't see behind it, but you think you can see into it, that's savage. So I would start with Sculpt a Skull, and I would then, Sculpt a Skull it can blow your mind a little bit, whereas the eye is a beautiful thing to start. It's not, and it doesn't take a lot of space to do it, doesn't take a lot of material, doesn't take a lot of tools either. Don't I miss what you were going to say to me. I can't scroll back up for some reason. So if anybody wants to join in and say hello, please do. Say it in the text, and I'll see if I can actually, I mean talk, see if we can actually talk. Seen other people do it, but I've never done it. I think it's only fair that, as I said earlier, I absolutely planked myself the first time I did a live, and it's only fair that somebody else gets the fright out of life for coming on here and speaking to everybody else. So I'm getting this pared down, and I think what it is there's, but that much has to come off, because the eye, it comes around, and where's that? Well, it's the opposite eye, it doesn't help. But it comes straight and then swoops around. This comes straight, but it swoops up. Whereas so therefore I think we have to drop this down a little bit. If I drop it down a little bit, which I'm going to do, it makes this, oh yeah, there, that looks right. If I scoop that out, because there's so much fat on this, I just have to take a little bit off there. So has anybody got any questions there, lads? Jamie, how's it going? Isabel, how are you? Kieran Banner, what's the story? Is it Elena? How are you? From Peru, that's fantastic. Never ceases to amaze me, this lad. You're like, I didn't think anybody would watch this stuff with going out in my first live, and its purpose wasn't, you know, I just thought it might be fun to engage with people, but I actually didn't think many people, I didn't think anybody, to be honest, would engage with it. And it's mental that I'm talking to somebody from Peru, and nearly every week somebody from that I haven't got a clue who they are joins in. So as I said, if people don't know, this is Samuel Beckett. Samuel Beckett, for anybody that doesn't know, and my God, I don't know how you don't know, but was an extremely famous Irish playwright. He was an absurdist, and if you follow me at all, you'll see that I've actually posted stuff up there, and he has been in my life for a wee while. I forgot that I did stuff for a Beckett film, Endgame, and he weirdly has connections with all sorts of things that I really love. One being The Princess Bride, which I put a thing out there. The finishing wrinkle line is near. Yeah, you said it. So, and I've done a few jobs where the reference was Beckett, and I just had this connection, I think, and bizarrely, so that's why I decided that I would do Beckett. Why I decided to do 2 to 1, I don't know. Like doing 2 to 1, that's I don't know why I decided that, but that's hard, lads. Because it's not, I actually don't know what the maths is, but because it's, if you could appreciate this, if it's 1 to 1, the circumference is whatever it is. But when it's when you make a 2 to 1, the circumference gets even bigger again. So like overall, the surface area of this is way bigger than it would be 1 to 1, which is which I didn't take into consideration. Do you know any effects places looking for internships or working experience? At the minute, the problem is that I know very few films that are actually geared back into setting back up again. You're more than welcome to message me. I will put on to you as many as I know. There's a lot of people in here right now who work in the film industry, but I would safely say not many of them, if any of them, are back on a film yet. Like lots of people do take internships. My experience of like if you're saying that you want an internship, you know, you're at a certain level, and I was at that level, and knew feck all about this sort of stuff and feck all about life. And my advice to anybody who is trying to get into this stuff is get up off your backside and go to where the work is, and show the people there that you're enthusiastic about this stuff, and that you want to be there. The person who ends up getting there is not necessarily the person with the best skill, but the person who's a nice person, enthusiastic, and has shown that they're enthusiastic. And the amount of stories I could tell you about that, but me getting a job when I really shouldn't be getting a job, just because purely I turned up on the door and said, will you give me a job please? And that's not just in Ireland, went all over the place doing that crack, and it actually does work. Another trick is whether it be England or Ireland, not everybody, but a lot of people, most people, not everybody, but a lot of people are part of SIP2, or whether they're part of SIP2 or not, SIP2 will know, and the IFTN site, if you look at it and you use these systems, like a film has to be greenlit, and you on the site it actually says what is in Ireland and what is going to be greenlit. So if you don't have a network of people that actually know this stuff, I sort of do, and there's a few of them on here, and they you know, the people ring them up, can you do this, can you do that? But if you don't know anybody, go to IFTN, go to SIP2, you will see on the websites what is greenlit, and actually it gives you a fair whack of information. It tells you who the production company is, and so with a little bit of googling you'll know from what film that production company is doing, where they're doing it, so you could ring up, and then after there it's like with me, with just hard neck and enthusiasm, go and say, can I work here? And that's what I did for years, absolute years. So, but if you want to message me, please do, and I'll give you as much information as I possibly can. Enough of that rant. So I'm going to take this down a little bit. What I'm trying to do is mimic the eye. I've even given up saying left and right because you see completely different than what I see. So again, lads, what I would love to say is thank you, because for a wee while there, I don't know about you, but it's very lonely when you're looking at your four walls and being able to do this type of stuff, and even just people asking questions of people, and I can see people who are there, and people, and some people are, want advice or whatever. It's a lovely thing to be able to do, as well as create something. So as I said, this is my last Feck with Beckett, which is, as I said at the beginning, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I'm actually quite sad about that, in that I've really enjoyed doing this. What I say for ye, I'd say, let me say it differently, with ye. I've inspired you a bit. Well, don't lie. Thank you very much. I'm happy that that's what this has done. And all I wanted to do was, through this mad time, say, listen lads, we can actually keep on doing a bit of what we normally do. And what I find about this stuff is, my wife might say differently because I've been in here an awful lot. But the time goes away, and it's very meditative, it's very pleasing, and at the end of the day you can see that I've created something, and it's a lovely thing to be able to say in the middle of, I don't know how many days we are now, over 100, that this is what I did. Hi Mayor, how's it going? So it's lovely to be able to, lovely thing to be able to say, this is what I did when during lockdown, and I have seen so many people making wonderful things, and even people with cereal boxes. It's just been fantastic to be able to watch that, and this with no support. It's like typical artists, really, because we get fuck all the support. Excuse me, my French, but we don't. But does that mean we shouldn't do what we do or what we love? No, we keep on doing what we do and what we love. Now, should we be supported? Absolutely, we should be supported. Look at what New Zealand did, and I know the government have given money to the Arts Council, but that took a while. But that's why I started this, and I'm delighted to hear that you feel that I've inspired you to do something. I suppose that's why I did this. That's why I went online. That's why I went live. Well, that's not what I did. I went online. I just did it. But if the result of doing that is somebody doing something, creating something that they would have never done before, it's good for me. You worked out a lot. Yeah, I'd say, like, to be honest, I haven't. Oh my god, I've been sitting in this room literally between work and doing this type of stuff, and even when my part of my work is teaching this type of stuff, I've been at my desk. Sometimes, some days I've been at my desk from 6 o'clock in the morning till 7, 8 o'clock at night, and that's been, I haven't done any working out or anything like that. I'm going to have to actually do something like that. That's not normally like me at all. Usually I do all sorts of stuff. So has anybody got any questions, lads? I think at the end of this process you can hear me, what you can hear is me ripping my sponge. My sponge is clogged. I've used the same sponge for the whole of this fella, and I think I'm going to buy a new sponge. Sad, I know, but I think I deserve it. Yeah, that actually is cool. So a few people messaged me after Wednesday, because I asked, just asked, how do you felt about like I know a lot of people are looking at this and maybe for entertainment or just passing the time or vegging out or whatever. Some people are using it to actually sculpt by, and that's cool. Jamie, you're absolutely going to see him cast it, but not today. This is my last day of sculpting this fella. But I will show that when I've done it. But I can't do it here. I have to do it in another workshop because it will be smelly. But I asked people what did they think about, learning through this process of me doing stuff, you seeing it, you doing it, and a lot of people responded positively to that. Now I can't touch your clay, I can't be in the room with you, but what I'm hoping is, I'm going to develop this a little bit more, is that you feel that I'm in the room with you, and we can start creating stuff together. And I'm going to take a break first because I need a break. I'm going to put an online course together, and nice background noise while I draw. I'm going to put some. I'm going to do an online course, and I'll put it out, see what people are interested in that. There will be materials you will need to get, and I will list all of that stuff. Now I have to figure out where's the best place to do it, because I'm not bloody doing it on YouTube again. But maybe, well, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But if you're interested in that, a few people have texted me already saying that they would be interested. Just let me know. But it is something I'm going to do, and it's something I actually have to figure out really for myself. Like as a fallback position, I don't know what's the story with going back to college, and I might have to stay here, or I might be back in college. I don't know. Whereas I would like to be able to prepare myself, so I am going to create an online course, that we will do something. Won't be of this scale, but it'll be a hell of a lot bigger than the Sculpt the Skull, and it will be something that everybody could do. So stay tuned for that, and I'll put it out on the normal channels of Facebook and all that sort of malarkey, Instagram. So if anybody wants to do it, sign up. And if you want to do something now and you haven't done it already, sign up for Sculpt the Skull and follow all the tutorials. Go onto the website, it's all there. Just sign up, you get an email, and it give you all the references. And then it's on the website as well, but you can go to YouTube, and it's a 6-hour tutorial now, lads. But you can come and go, and I make my skull there in front of you. So follow along, and all the templates are there. And I think it is advanced, the skull, but it's a fantastic. It is advanced, but it is the foundations as well. So I do think that it's extremely important. But if you get the method that I show you into your head, it's a fantastic way of being able to learn how to sculpt. Oh yes, please. I'm in for online shenanigans. Cool. So we'll put your name down. So I do think now for me, I have to say, and this is a bit truthfully honest, and there's not that many people here, so I can be honest, is that through all of this process, I'm a very tactile artist in that I touch my clay, I touch things, and when I'm teaching, again it's tactile in that I will help you sculpt one side, you do the other side, you work on the bit I've done. I work together with people. I found this very difficult because I can't do that anymore, so I've had to rejig my brain a little bit, but I did feel, I have to say, like a dinosaur that is this finished with? Am I ever going to be able to get back into this? Will people appreciate it anymore? Does everybody just want to go digital? Is that the only way we can go forward? No, I'm not. My job is a teacher. I'm not. That is not what I am. I am a maker. I'm just a maker who fell into the teaching game really, and something I really enjoyed doing. And I really felt through this lockdown that way of teaching has become extinct. So what I am going to try and do, and it's good to see that people are enthusiastic if they're doing some online shenanigans. Love that. Try and continue making this, actually making. Now, I'm not opposed to digital. I'm not, and I am going to have to. I use digital all the time. Sure, this is all digital. But I still want to do this. So if there's people who want to learn this stuff, but maybe in a different way online, let me know. And the more people we can get together, well, the more it's sustainable for me. Like, to be honest, lads, I dread to think how much clay I've put in this bloody thing. Because if I'll just do a quick calculation. There's about, I get them in boxes, and there's 20 in a box, and I've gone through a box and a half, so that's 30. And this here, let's say, nicely saying it's 30 euros, so it's 300 quid in here. And I'd say it's a hell of a lot more, but that's like when you get online. But like, this stuff is seriously heavy stuff, so it does cost to do that. Now this is this size. If you wanted to make an eye, it would cost you 10 euro. So like, that's cool. So, but if in my head, what I do want to do, I haven't worked out details at all, lads. I want to do a silicone bust, an online course. I think it would be easier to do a half a face. If you wonder what it weighs, I can tell you exactly what it weighs. If there's 30 blocks in here, each block weighs 2 pounds. So 2 pounds, what's 2 pounds? It's nearly a kilo. I think so. So that's, I think there's, let's say there's 30 to 40 blocks in here. So the minimum, it's 60 pounds or 40 kilos. Oh my god. And like, I have a really good easel, but boy Jesus, trying to move this fella is nuts. Bust out the kitchen scales. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought I'd break the kitchen scales. Now, I know you're only seeing one side of this fella. We're flipping around a wee while. But what I have been working on is this side, and from day one, if anybody's been following me, it has been a pain in the backside to do this side. So Mr. Boyd, what's the story with you? It is bizarre doing these things, and that what this has done is, like, working online and stuff like that. Even for me in work, is broken down that distance barrier. Really has completely broken it down, and that I can be talking. Now I know we have phones and stuff like that, but it's this sort of stuff, doing this, and somebody in wherever, Portugal, was a woman from Peru, that it's sort of broken all of that down, and we can all do this at the same time. It's fantastic. How long do I make this work? Sorry, my English, but your mother language is Spanish. That is perfectly good. My Spanish is terrible. Your English is brilliant. How long have I been doing this? I assume you're asking him. If it's how long I'm doing this fella, I started literally just before we went into lockdown. So I think that I don't know when that was, lads. I can't, but 110 days ago. If you're asking how long have I been doing this type of work, I started when I was 16. The first thing I made was a scarecrow for a competition in Dundalk, and I always wanted to do art. in my head, but my art teacher basically said, "Don't bother, Paul. This isn't going to happen. So don't do it. Do science." I didn't. I kept with the art, and to prove him wrong, when I was 16, I made the zombie scarecrow, which was inspired by Michael Jackson's Thriller. And I'm 48. So, what's that? What? I'm the brain's fried, lads. Paul, what'd you ask me? I presume you can reuse clay for next go. Absolutely. The thing will be though, I am going to spray this, lacquer this, because I've used all sorts of stuff to sculpt it. So I'm going to lacquer it with car lacquer, and the car lacquer will seal in all the impurities. And the reason I'm doing that, so that it doesn't inhibit, I think you know this already, Paul, but for people who don't, it'll if there's impurities in this, or there's something like latex, and I have used latex in this, or even solvents or chemicals, it'll inhibit. Inhibit means not go off, and that there, the silicone I will use it'll inhibit it. So what I will be doing is car lacquering it. So the trick with that is you melt it all down, and with the car lacquer it sort of floats to the top, or really heavy stuff sinks to the bottom. Skim that off the top, leave the stuff on the bottom, and then fill coffee cups up with the melted stuff. Bloody be careful, because that thing will take your arm off. But Elena, I've been doing this since I've been 16, to answer your question. That's why I sort of like using this. Now a lot of people think I'm nuts, because for this size, people have said to me, "Why on earth would you not use wet clay? Why on earth would you not use wet clay?" Now that would be the preferred with a lot of people. It's a wet clay. It's called wet clay. A lot of people in the film industry use it, called WED, Walt E. Disney, and there's a lot of less moisture in it. It's more expensive than your normal clay, but what I've been managed to be able to do, like this, he's been sitting there for over 100 days, he won't dry out, and I just find that brilliant to be able to do that, to just leave it, not think about it, come back to it. And now wet clay, you can recycle it, but it's a hell of a lot easier to recycle this. That's why I like using it. My father is on here, so how's it going, Dad? Now, what I am being a little bit panicky about the detail around the eyes. I'm going to flip around here. I'm just going to put in, and I might need a little light. Yeah, Dad, everybody's saying hello to you. Catherine, what's the story? I'm just going to do a little bit more in here. So lads, as I've said, this is my last Feck with Beckett live, and I just would like to say thank you to everybody who was taking time out of the day to just be with me. It's quite bizarre that people would want to do that, and as I said, this whole process or even starting this was purely like I wouldn't think I was going to do this crack. I'm the person who's in the background all the time, so it blows my mind still that people basically wanted to watch, and it's fantastic. So what I've left to the end, which is, I probably shouldn't, up in here and up in there, it's not finished. Up in here I haven't finished either. That is sort of, I'm going to spend a little bit of time, that sort of stuff, not today. So there is a little bit of sculpting going on. I have to go on. Beckett will be finished, but there is a little bit that will have to be done before I mould this fella. It's going to be a fairly big mould, not a massive mould, but a fairly big. I've done bigger. The mould will be made. I was going to do it differently, but I've coughed on and had sense. I'm going to make it in fiberglass. I just have to get some materials. I don't have any of that yet. But so I'll mould it in fiberglass and pop it out in silicone. And I know that is a process that people are going, how the hell are you going to do that? Well, I am going to document that, so you'll see that. So Feck with Beckett is going to be finished, but I'm not finished yet. Well, I suppose when I'll be finished, I'll be 6 foot under, and I'm not that yet. I am finishing today. This is my last day. It's bizarre. I actually don't really want to finish. I actually don't want to finish. I'll try and not get emotional, lads. I have 4 minutes left of Feck with Beckett, and I have to say, I have had a few people say that they've thanked me for doing this, and for sort of sharing my knowledge, whatever limited knowledge that is. I have bucket loads to learn, lads, bucket loads. And but what I would like to say is thank ye for the reason why I did this was so I could remain sane. So it's been my pleasure to be able to sit here, and it's bizarre that it is going to be finished in about 4 minutes. It's my pleasure that I have connected with loads of people. I've connected with people I do not know. I have stayed connected with people that I do know, reconnected with people who I've taught or worked with, which is beautiful and fabulous, even old friends or new friends. So what I would say to everybody who's listening to this, I'm an email or a text message away, and if there is something that you want help with, or if there's something that you just want to ask a question about with this sort of stuff, do. I think what's brilliant about this is that it's opened up avenues, or it's opened up channels that sort of weren't there before. And I'd be delighted to talk to people about it. I'm always delighted to talk about people about this type of work. Lads, I'm not the best in the world, but I have a knowledge about a good few things, and I'm more than happy to share it with anybody who wants to ask a question. Again, I will be doing tutorials. I have done them, you've seen them. Mairead, what's the story? I haven't talked to you in ages. So I have done tutorials. If you want to see them, have a look at them. They're up on the YouTube channel. So I'm just going to talk for a few minutes and let him sit. He needs. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to give him a flick of. I'm going to create a solution. It's like a slip if you or a slurry. With Shivant, and I'm going to flick it on with a chip brush. That's the last thing I'm going to do with this. What that will do with the chemicals in it, all the little sort of bally things that are left on it, it'll melt them down a bit, as well as give it a sort of an overall skin texture just on top of it. So that's the last thing I'm going to do to this fella. So again, lads, bizarre is 1 minute left. I'd like to thank everybody for joining in. I am extremely grateful that people would take time out of their day to listen to me blab on, and to watch him become him. It's just a very humbling thing that people would want to do this, and I thank you. As I said, I am going to do more. I am going to do some tutorials. And I suppose today really hasn't been about a tutorial. Today has been about sort of saying thank you very much. If you bye Alina, and mad that you're watching this from Peru, and if anybody wants, there's a bucket load of these up, and up on YouTube. You'll see them all. This fella evolved. So again, I want to thank you all, and there will be more lives, and I will put them out on the various social medias. So Sloan. So that's Instagram gone, and Facebook. Again, same with you. Thank you very much for being here, and I will just stay tuned, and you will see, I'll post it up and you'll see the tutorials that I'm going to do, and thank you again. So that's done. Facebook or YouTube. So again, YouTube, if you want to see any more of these stuff, subscribe, like it, and comment on it. And if you have any questions, just put it in and ask me a question. Usually I can get around to answering them, and I will be doing more lives in the future, so stay tuned to that. I will be putting it out on the website, as you see at the bottom. It's www.paulmcdonalddesign.com, and same on Facebook, Paul McDonald Design, same on YouTube, same on Instagram. So all of that's out there. So if you want to follow me, please do, and comment. And I look forward to meeting you all in the future. Bye bye now.